Muammar Gadhafi's youngest son, Saif, and 3 grandchildren were reportedly killed in a NATO airstrike in Tripoli. Gadhafi and his wife were said to be inside the house during the strike, but escaped unharmed. Miguel Marquez has more from Benghazi. Good morning, Miguel. Okay, and we lost our feed to Miguel, so we're going to bring in this week host Christian Amanpour from Washington to talk more about this. Christian, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning, Bianna.
This is not the Saif that you have interviewed in the past. This is his youngest son, the least well-known. But what role did he play in his father's regime?
Well, not a huge role, and you're right, he's the least well-known, but really what this means is that the US and NATO are stepping up their campaign of pressure on Gadhafi. There's been a huge amount of controversy over the last several weeks because of the stalemate that has developed over this Libya war, if you like. The no-fly zone has been up for more than 6 weeks now, and Gadhafi is still entrenched. So you can see, especially over the last few days, with much more NATO bombing around Tripoli and around the presidential compound there, that this is what they're trying to do now, although they're saying they're not specifically going out to assassinate.
Right. And leading up to the bombing, Gadhafi said that he would negotiate and observe a ceasefire if NATO stopped sending in its planes. You've covered Gadhafi for years now. How does the death of his son and grandchildren affect his strategy? Does this weaken him or does this recharge him?
Well, I'm sure it's one of those things. For instance, if you remember back in the 80s when Ronald Reagan launched airstrikes in retaliation for Libyan-sponsored terrorism, one of his daughters, his adopted daughter, was killed. And this played into his narrative for years following. But in this particular case, it's unclear how this is going to affect him, except that he did say yesterday that he was going to and was open for a ceasefire and to negotiate with the rebels. But NATO and the rebels are saying they want to see action, not words. So nobody is taking him at his word. And he continues to insist that he's not leaving.
And Gadhafi's spokesperson said that the aim of the attack was to kill the Libyan leader directly. Are we seeing a major shift in NATO's mandate? Is he now a target?
Well, look, they are not saying that. They're not saying that they are trying to assassinate him. What they continue to say, though, is that he has to go. And what you're seeing is a stepped-up campaign around Tripoli, the capital. At the same time, the rebels have not yet been able to capitalize and convert the advantage that they have been given by the NATO airstrikes and the no-fly zone. So there is a problem developing, which looks like it's kind of developing into a war with no discernible end right now.